Good morning, everyone. There's a few more seats up front. If you want to come in and get out of the wind, feel free. Otherwise, I think we're right at 11 o'clock, and I see plenty of media here, so why don't we go ahead and get started. What a great day for project announcement and economic development announcement, but just a great day in general to have blue skies and great temperatures, and thank God is smiling down on us today. So good morning, everyone. I'm Mike Preston, Secretary of Commerce for the state of Arkansas and the Executive Director of the Economic Development Commission. Again, great to be with everyone. We have a very exciting announcement. This project, I look back in my calendar, and I had a hold on January 13th for Project Treehouse. So you can see where we first got together and had some conversations, and I know the conversations actually started way before that. So going back to January 13th of this year, we started working this project, and it's been a very competitive process. And at the time, we had no idea who the company was. We just knew that we really liked them. And we wanted them here in Little Rock. We wanted them in the state of Arkansas. And sometimes in projects that you work, and you obviously go after targeted sectors and you want to bring in new jobs, but sometimes you really just you hit it off with a company, and you know that there's going to be a fit with that company and with that community in that state. And we really felt that with this company. So we're excited to work with them, and we're even more excited each time that they made a deselection and that we continued to make the cut. And when it got down to the final last couple of sites, we poured everything we had into it to make sure that they would eventually want to call Arkansas and Little Rock and the port their home. And conversely, I think the company found a special connection with Arkansas and with the community here in Little Rock and Pulaski County. So couldn't be more excited about it. And I'll talk a little bit more about this as I introduce our speakers here today, but we certainly had multiple organizations from across all jurisdictional boundaries, across political lines and views, who all came together. And we all came together for the greater purpose of creating jobs. And that's what we're here to talk about and celebrate today. And really, you can take this back to the early 1960s, if you will, and then IADC chair Governor Rockefeller, before he became governor, and the vision that they had to create this port here in Little Rock and the industrial land surrounding it. And you can see all the companies that now call this port home, and we're excited to announce a new one here today. So with that, let me jump right into our speakers who will talk about the project and who they are and what's going to happen here. So first up on the list, I get to introduce Mr. Brian Fairbanks, who is the president and CEO for the Trex company as of April of 2020. It's a heck of a time to start as a CEO of a company. And a little bit about Mr. Fairbanks. He joined Trex in 2004 as Director of Financial Planning and Analysis and has held positions of increasing responsibility throughout his tenure as the company. In 2006, Brian moved into operations as the Senior Director of Supply Chain and was promoted to Executive Director of International Business in 2012. In 2015, Brian was named Vice President and CFO and became Executive Vice President in July of 2018. Prior to joining Trex, Brian served in numerous senior advisor roles with Ford Motor Company. He received an undergraduate degree from the University of Dayton and an MBA from the University of Pittsburgh. He is a Steelers fan and a former golfer. Since he became CEO, he doesn't have time for it anymore, but we welcome you to try out some of our beautiful golf courses in Little Rock. Please join me in welcoming President and CEO of Trex Company, Mr. Brian Fairbanks.
Thank you for the kind words. We are extremely excited to be announcing a Trex investment in Little Rock with Arkansas. The team has welcomed us with open arms. We couldn't be more excited about the opportunity as we move forward. A little bit about the Trex company. We were founded over 30 years ago with an emphasis on providing outdoor living products, which would also be low maintenance. One of the keys to our success is the ability to use recycled raw materials. Today, 95% of the content of our deck board is recycled polyethylene and reclaimed wood. It has really been a key to our success, and even more important as we move forward in the greening of the economy. A little bit about why Little Rock. As Mike mentioned, we've been talking about this for over a year and a half now. It's great to finally be able to stand in front of an audience and talk about it live. We're looking at $400 million of investment over the next 5 years. When our local politicians talk about good jobs with high wages, that's what Trex will bring to the community. We expect to hire 500 or more people over that same period of time as we move forward. We expect this will be our largest operating facility in time as well. Almost 300 acres. Almost 300 acres here in the port will allow us to be able to grow to the level that we see possible with the company. So again, thanks to everybody here. Thank you to everybody who made it possible for us to make this decision. Special thanks to Governor Hutchinson, to Mayor Scott, and countless others who were so accommodating to all of the requests that we had along the way and help us know that we were making the right decision. So thank you.
Brian, thank you. Congratulations, and we just so enjoyed working with you and your entire team, and we had a great opportunity to get together for dinner last night and just catch up and reflect on the year and a half that was in this project and this exciting announcement we have today and what this means for the future of the company, but also the future of Little Rock and the future of Arkansas and the port, and that we now have the Trex stamp, the Trex logo right here in the port in the great city of Little Rock in the state of Arkansas. So next, economic development is one of Governor Asa Hutchinson's top priorities. Since the governor took office in 2015, we have signed 547 incentive agreements with Arkansas-based, national, and international companies looking to expand or relocate to the natural state. This has led to the creation of more than 25,000 jobs and a capital investment of more than $10.9 billion. And we add this project in there and we're well over $11 billion. Under the governor's administration, the state has seen record low unemployment as well as the highest employment rate in our state's history. Today, our state's unemployment rate stands at 4%, substantially lower than the national average. The governor continues to demonstrate his enthusiasm for economic development in the state, and it's a pleasure to have him here today for today's announcement. Please join me in welcoming our state's CEO, the 46th governor of the great state of Arkansas, Governor Asa Hutchinson.
Thank you. With Brian's announcement and the announcement of Trex today, this means this is a $400 million day for Arkansas. And this is exciting. Whenever you listen to Brian and his enthusiasm for the opportunities that it brings to Trex, it gets me excited as well. And whenever you look at a couple of key words that he used, $400 million investment, 500 jobs over time that will be created, good paying jobs. And then he said that this eventually will be the largest footprint in manufacturing for the company. And that gives me a great deal of pride in Arkansas that through this competition we won. And that just recognizes our workforce and the strength of our workforce. It recognizes our geographic location and the facilities here at the port. It recognizes the opportunity that our outdoor living brings to an outdoor company that makes this kind of product. And so, Brian, thank you for your announcement today. And this is not something that is done overnight. As Mike mentioned, started in January. We've worked hard. We've presented our case. And through that time, it narrowed from other states down to Arkansas, and we're delighted with the fact that Arkansas was chosen. I asked Brian last night as we were dining what was a key factor. And of course, there's a lot of key factors. He might not want to told me all of the key factors in selecting Arkansas, but he did say one thing, and that was the way our team worked together. And we're not siloed. We work together for the good of our state and to win these type of projects. And so I want to thank our team, the Little Rock Regional Chamber of Commerce, Entergy, the Port of Little Rock, the City of Little Rock. Mayor, we visited about this, but thank you for your partnership in bringing business and industry to this city in Central Arkansas. The Economic Development Commission and Mike Preston He's good at this, and he knows his business. I'm very proud of him and his team and the commissioners that are here that supports the economic development here in the state of Arkansas. And then Judge Barry Hyde in Pulaski County. We all work together to showcase Arkansas and bring this kind of success for us. I think this is a very good fit for Arkansas. Trex is an environmentally friendly company. As Brian mentioned, 95% of the material comes from recycled materials. And I love statistics. A 500 square foot deck built of Trex decking contains the equivalent of 140,000 recycled plastic bags. And I think we want to utilize those plastic bags other than just floating around in our community. Americans use an average of 365 plastic bags per person per year, which is about 1 bag per day. At that rate, 383 people contribute plastic for 1 Trex deck. And so we're going to have an environmentally friendly business that's going to utilize recycled material, that's going to help a green economy here in the state and across the nation. Trex is also a good fit because it is one of our nation's fastest growing companies according to Fortune magazine. It is also on Forbes' list of America's best mid-sized companies. And I think, no doubt in my mind, but Trex will be a great corporate citizen for Arkansas that's going to provide incredibly good paying jobs as well as the investment in Arkansas that will make a difference for our future. I'm excited about this, excited about the future. Brian, thanks for making this a $400 million day in Arkansas.
Very well said, Governor. Thank you. As I mentioned, that January 13th in that first meeting, and we didn't even know who the company was, I give the Governor a lot of credit because he also found time on his schedule that day to come by, not knowing who the company was, but knowing we had a prospect in town. So he took the time, along with the mayor, to come in and say hello and welcome them to the city and to the state, and then we went from there. So our next speaker is Mayor Frank Scott Jr. Little Rock voters made history in December 2018 when they selected Frank Scott Jr. as the city's 73rd mayor and one of the youngest mayors in the history of the city. And now, Mayor, I know you and I were born in the same year, so I know how old you are, and we're both, I like to think that we're still cool because we're millennials. But I got bad news. I was reading the other day that our year when we were born, we're actually considered geriatric millennials now. So I don't know how to take that. I don't know how you take that, but we're in the same boat together on this. But the mayor started his career in public service in Governor Mike Beebe's office. While he was there, he received his MBA from the University of Arkansas at Little Rock, which allowed him to go into work in the banking community where he worked with First Security Bank. He served on the Port of Little Rock board right here and is a highway commissioner, so he knows economic development and the importance of the port and our highways. He was inaugurated as mayor on January 1st, 2019. Please join me in welcoming my fellow geriatric millennial, Mayor Frank Scott.
Thank you so much, Mike. I am not a geriatric millennial. You and I look too. Maybe I am. But let me come together. We look too good to be geriatric. No, seriously. Today is a great day here in our city. The governor shared that this is a $400 million day. It's more than that. Today we have the state's capital city has now received in welcoming hands Trex, a sustainable company, a green company, a $1 billion company that has decided to come to the state's capital city. And we're excited about that because it means more jobs for our communities. In a time when we're coming out of a pandemic and we understand people want more to do, they want to have access to what we call equitable economics. This is the opportunity to do that here in our city. 500 jobs, $400 million company, and it's focused on the green economy. That's a demonstration of our city's growth and transformation. And that's what it's all about. How do we grow as a city? How do we transform? And it does not happen without collaboration and teamwork. I'm grateful for the collaboration and teamwork from Arkansas Economic Development Commission, my dear friend Governor Hutchinson, the Little Rock Port Authority, the Little Rock Chamber of Commerce, all of us working together to ensure that we bring jobs to our city, to our region, and to our state. And understanding that only thing matters, if we have more jobs, we continue to lessen the woes of our city and our state. And that's what it's all about. Today is a hopeful day. Today is a day of growth. Today is a day of transformation. And it doesn't happen without the team. And it's always about the team and what we're willing to do to grow our city, to grow our state, and transform it. This is just yet another example of how we are a catalyst for the New South. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. And if you didn't notice, this deck right here is made by Trex, so make sure everyone gets a picture on this when we're all said and done, so you can see the fine quality work that it is. Before I introduce our next speaker, I do have some other dignitaries in the audience I just want to take a minute to recognize. And obviously we can't do economic development without the support of our legislature and them coming together and giving us the resources and the tools to help us build communities and community development, and then the resources that allow us to do business development. So I was trying to make a list before we got down. It's kind of hard to see out here, but I know I have Representative Ashley Hudson and Representative Denise Ennett right here in the front row. I believe Senator Jane English was going to be here as well. And Representative Collins, I didn't see him, but thank you, Representative Ennett. So he's somewhere in the back. I did see Representative David Ray. I know he is here as well. And then I think Senator Kim Hammer was coming as well. So let me get a round of applause for our legislators and all the support they give today. And additionally, we have a great legislative delegation. So, that's one thing that, Trex will add to their footprint is you now have 2 new senators and 4 congressmen who represent you in D.C. and will support everything that you need as a company. So we have great representation from our congressional offices. Now, I know they're up in Washington, the members themselves doing some work, but they have their representatives here. So from Senator Bozeman's office, we have Jimmy Harris. From Senator Cotton's office, we have Vanessa Moody. From Congressman Hill's office, we have Hunter Sadler. And from Congressman Westerman's office, we have Michael Moore. So let's give a hand to all those congressional teams. All right. And of course, as we come together, we're in a great county right here in Pulaski County. So Pulaski County Judge Barry Hyde has called Pulaski County home for more than 30 years. He ran successfully then for judge in 2014 and is currently in his 3rd term. Judge Hyde has a record of accomplishment as a leader and a dedicated public servant. Prior to being elected as a county judge, he served in that very legislature that I talked about for District 40 for 6 years. And in 1987, Judge Hyde started Hydeco, which has become one of the leading commercial contracting and construction companies in the region. So he certainly understands the importance of a company like Trex and what they'll mean to our community. He also served honorably in the United States Air Force as a member of the Titan missile launch crew from 1974 until 1977. You are not a geriatric millennial. Almost. Please join me in welcoming my good friend, County Judge Barry Hyde.
Thank you, Mike. In these elected positions, the most rewarding part is getting to have the opportunity to belong to the team that we have here in Arkansas, and Central Arkansas specifically, that's able to hang our hat on these large accomplishments. And in the last several years, I'd like to say since I got here, but we have a history here. We've been able to enjoy and get together to celebrate many of these events. And I'm especially pleased that Trex is our latest. They'll, got a chance to have dinner with them last night, and one thing I can tell you is they'll be great corporate citizens. They're just like you and me. They're good folks. They care about the quality of life. They care about their families, and they care about their safety. And so we all have that in common. They'll be committed to helping us with the quality of life here in our county. I'm sure the mayor will join me in this and already probably mentioned it. As members of the Regional Waste and Recycling, this product really is a sustainable and really goes on to say, is that my cue to hurry up? and really fits well with certainly my administration. I know the state's intentions and as well as the city's. Last but not least, I'm going to brag on the product. Before they discovered us, we discovered them, at least in my household, because when it was time to build a new deck at my home, I can tell you this is what's on my deck, and it's been a great product. So we want to welcome Trex and the management team and the future employees that we'll have here to Pulaski County. We appreciate it, we thank them, and we hope that they'll tell their friends about what a great place this is to live and work and play. Thanks.
Well, thank you, Judge. And before I introduce Joe Bailey, who's our next speaker and chairman of Little Rock Port, and I believe is speaking on behalf of Entergy Arkansas as well, I just got to take a minute to say thank you to the team at the Department of Commerce and specifically at the Arkansas Economic Development Commission. This is the team that I get to work with and just have the honor to work with day in and day out. And I'm blessed to have such a great team around me who can help make these projects a reality. So Clint O'Neill, who's our EVP of Global Business, and Bentley Story, who's our Director of Business Development, who worked so hard on this. And then Catherine Holmstrom, who is our project manager on this. I'm still claiming you, Catherine, as an AEDC employee for the time being because you helped us land this project and brought it to fruition before Joe and Danny stole her away recently to come work with the Entergy team. Catherine was on the ground from day one and is still working on this now in her role as Entergy. But that team came together and worked so hard to make this happen. And I just got to take a minute to applaud them and say thank you for your leadership and your service. John Wycliffe, our commissioner there in the second row. Appreciate you being here and your representation on the commission as well. So many others I could thank, but Joe, Danny, Catherine, I guess the thing you all have in common is you started at AEDC and now you're at the powerhouse at Entergy, so you have that in common, and don't forget about us as you continue to do great things for our state. But let me introduce Joe Bailey. And Joe currently serves as a senior project manager with Entergy Arkansas. He's been with the company since 2012, and as I mentioned before that, he was with Economic Development, where he served in the role of Business Development Director. In 2011, he was awarded Economic Developer of the Year. He's got a whole list of long accolades as his time as at AEDC. He received his bachelor's degree in Science and Manufacturing Technology from Arkansas State. He's on his second term now in the Little Rock Port Authority Board of Directors, and he currently is serving as the chairman. So, Joe, on behalf of the Port and Entergy, come up and share your thoughts with us. Joe Bailey.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate it. Appreciate everyone for ovation. Thank you so much. I am honored to be here representing the Little Rock Port Authority Board of Directors and to welcome the Trex team to the Port of Little Rock. We started about a little over 60 years ago with a 40-acre tract here, and the Little Rock Port was created to serve as an economic catalyst for our city and our region. Today we have over 4,000 acres at the port, and we are home to more than 7,000 jobs, and as of today, 43 companies. These jobs represent families and communities which are supported by the economic engine that is Arkansas's largest industrial park, accounting for over $500 million of annual impact. I want to thank the staff here at the port, which is led by Brian Day, does a tremendous job for us, for their commitment to growing and supporting the businesses that call the port home. I also want to thank our industry partners and the businesses who have helped build America's best inland port. And finally, a special thanks to my colleagues on the port board for their unwavering commitment to our community. Bobby Brown, who's the current vice chair, was unable to be with us today. Clay McGeorge, Clay is our current secretary. Melissa Hendricks, back here, is our longest serving port board member, I believe. Stan Hastings, Stan. Tamika Edwards, who is here. I don't know if I've seen you earlier. And Keith Harvey are our two latest board members, and we appreciate everyone's service. Also need to recognize Greg Joslin and John Wycliffe, who are former board chairs, and appreciate you guys for all you've done for the port. Today is an important day in the history of the Port of Little Rock as we welcome Trex investment and the continued development of the port as we move south from here. And I appreciate your time and appreciate everyone coming. We look forward to working with you guys. Thanks.
Well, thank you, Joe. And one more speaker before Jay will come up and close us out here at the end. But John Burgess is the chairman of the Little Rock Regional Chamber of Commerce and is the co-founder of Mainstream Technologies and has served as president since inception of since 1996. John also serves as Mainstream's chief security officer and leads the company's cybersecurity management and consulting unit. John believes passionately in the value of STEM education and STEM-related careers as a vehicle for economic development and societal improvement, and actively supports various organizations which promote STEM. John is active in many civic and professional organizations, including, as I mentioned, we're currently chairing the Little Rock Regional Chamber of Commerce, as chair of the North Little Rock Chamber of Commerce, the Arkansas State Chamber of Commerce, and many others. But as I recently found out, like me, is a 20 handicap golfer and is a great partner in a Texas scramble. So please join me in welcoming Chairman of the Little Rock Regional Chamber of Commerce, who's on this side of me, Mr. John Burgess.
Thank you, Mike. We won't speak any more about the golf. It's a pleasure to be with you today on behalf of the nearly 2,000 member businesses and the board of directors of the Little Rock Regional Chamber of Commerce. To Brian and the entire Trex team, we are so excited to welcome you to our community. It's not often that we have the opportunity to compete for and ultimately win an investment of this size with a company like Trex. Trex created a category, dominated an industry, and continue to get accolades from national organizations for the quality of your business operations. You are placing your trust in our community, and I can promise you that we will deliver on that trust and work to make this a profitable and successful investment in Little Rock. Education and workforce development are core issues for our chamber because we know that the talent we produce is the lifeblood of our region's growth. But that talent needs opportunities and companies who are willing to be true partners in workforce development and skills training. Throughout this process, it's become clear that Trex is a company that values its people and understands the wisdom of investing in workforce training. The residents of Little Rock who ultimately come to work for Trex will be the beneficiaries. Many local partners and individuals were critical to the success of this process, but I want to especially thank our team at the Chamber who worked tirelessly, and I can personally vouch for that, with the Trex team and their consultants throughout the site selection process. Thanks also to our partners at the Arkansas Economic Development Commission under the leadership of Governor Hutchinson and Secretary Preston. And I want to especially thank our partners, Mayor Scott and the City of Little Rock, and Brian Day and the board of the Little Rock Port Authority. The Chamber, the City, and the Port have worked hand in hand for many years to foster economic growth. We appreciate that partnership, and we look forward to many more years of success. Finally, to the Trex team, we know you will find Little Rock's business community to be a close-knit and welcoming group. The Chamber and our business leaders stand ready to assist you and support you as you make this investment in our community and become a part of our regional ecosystem. I would now like to ask President and CEO of the Little Rock Regional Chamber, Jay Cheshire, to come to the podium and close out today's program. Jay.
So I stand between you and lunch, so I'm not going to stand long. But I want to say, first of all, we did not have an opportunity to recognize our newest Little Rock City Director, Mr. Virgil Miller. Welcome. We appreciate you being here. You know, Mike talked about the meeting showing up on his January schedule, and oftentimes that's when we get to know about something that's happening. And yet what most people don't realize, and actually we ran a marketing program about this several years ago. I want to say a few things just for one quick minute about those people who don't often get recognized, because we do as a team, and they lead the team what most people think just happened. And so meetings don't just show up on a calendar unannounced. Things have to happen to get to that point. And so I want to go back and say a very special thank you. Catherine Holmstrom has already been recognized once. She and James Reddish and Jeremiah Anderson on our team started this process with site consultants Tess Fay and Sarah White with Global Location Strategies, and Mike Butler and Rich Eads with ADP many months before any meetings got on my calendar or Mike's calendar. And so while we don't often talk about that, people see these things happen, but they don't know that it's folks like James, Jeremiah, Catherine, and all these others that we've mentioned that really do the day-to-day work. And in some cases with this project, as Brian and I laughed about last night, the hour-to-hour work to make these things happen. And so I want to give them a big round of applause. I got asked a week or two ago about was the port full? And I laughed and I said, you know, Brian Day and his team, the commission of the port, have done a phenomenal job for many, many, many years. The port was full in 2008. Think about that. It's because of work that's been done since then that the port continues to expand to allow amazing companies like Trex to call this place home. That stuff just doesn't happen either. Whether it's our congressional delegation who've done yeoman's work in helping us not only get money from a grant perspective, but also work with other folks to be able to leverage that money to be able to create infrastructure. It's their work, along with folks like Rodney Larson with the Central Arkansas Planning and Development District, and Kanya that works on his team. Those are the people that you folks never really see in this process who also need to be a part of this. Another group that never gets mentioned because they don't want to be mentioned, but I'm going to mention them anyway. Colonel Eric Noe and the Corps of Engineer Little Rock District have done amazing work in doing everything that needed to be done, but doing it in a way that allowed us to be efficient and effective to move through all of the necessary processes. So we really appreciate them. That included our local utility partners, Tad Bohannon with the Central Arkansas Water Team, Greg Ramon with Little Rock Water Reclamation, Jay Reber with Centerpoint, and Laura Landro, Danny Games, and the entire team at Entergy Arkansas that make all these things that just happen work. Lastly, I want to say a very special thank you to our newest corporate member. You know, Brian, when your team first came here many, many, many months ago, and we had Christy Barr talking about how we were going to find you the workforce you needed to be not only profitable, but successful and in a scenario in which you could continue to expand for many years to come. We told you that when you came here, you would become one of us because you are now part of our family. And we appreciate your team and the amazing work that they did throughout this process, working with all of these folks, oftentimes not even knowing who they represented, but doing what needed to be done to get to this day. Because today, over 500 families who don't know who we are, who will likely never know who we are, have a better economic future because of Brian and the team from Trex. Welcome home. Is this a door prize?
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks everyone for coming. I think we're going to do some pictures and appreciate it, and welcome Trex.